So today is a new guest episode of Chalchitra Talks and आज हमें जो फिल्म recommend करना है इनका नाम है रौनक मैनगोटेल. रौनक is one of the founders of Fully Filmy, which is a pop culture and merchandise brand. Fully Filmy के online stores भी हैं which you can check out, and इनका एक YouTube channel भी है by the same name where they talk about the films and the TV shows that inspire them. So over to Raunak to talk about a few films that he likes.
So I've been following Chalchitra Talks for quite some time now. And there was this particular video that Vaibhav had put out on the channel, which was about Richard Linklater, one of my favorite directors. I love Dazed and Confused. I love the entire Before trilogy. But especially when he spoke about Boyhood, which is another film that's really close to my heart, when he spoke about it with so much passion, I just decided to reach out to him, and we had a really long call. We spoke for about, I think, a couple of hours, and then we decided that we should do something together. So this is one of our first collabs, hopefully of many more. And today I wanted to talk about Malayalam cinema because I'm originally a Malayali, and it gives me like a great pride to share some of the really amazing films that have come out of my state. Now, there are quite a few reasons that make Malayalam cinema stand apart from any other industry, and we've made an entire video dedicated to that on our channel. Please go check it out. But why I like watching Malayalam films is because they make contemporary films with contemporary stories and world-class making, but they're extremely rooted to their culture. You know, there's this quote by director Vetrimaran, and he says that the more local you go, the more regional you go, the more international you become. And I think Malayalam cinema is like the perfect example for that. The 80s were an amazing time for Malayalam cinema, and though I'm a Malayali, I'm really ashamed to say that I've not watched all of those classics. Post 2010, 2011, there were filmmakers like Ashik Abu, Amal Neeraj, Alphonse Putran, Anjali Menon, Vineet Srinivasan. All of these guys came into the Malayalam industry and kind of redefined storytelling. Today, I wanted to recommend two of my favorite new age Malayalam films, which I really think you should watch. And by the end of the video, I'm also going to be mentioning a few more films that I like. The first film I want to recommend is called Sudhani from Nigeria, and it's directed by Zakaria Mohammed. I think the world is in like a really weird place right now, not just with the virus, but everything that's been happening in America and in India and all over the world. And I am in a place in my life where I'm trying to focus on the positive side of things, no matter how difficult it might be to find that positive side. And if you're in a similar place like I am and you need something that just makes you feel a little better about people and the world, I think you should definitely watch Sudhani from Nigeria. Firstly, we don't see too many films about football in our country because cricket is mostly huge in most of the parts of India, but in Kerala, football is everything. If you ever go to Kerala and you drive down the roads, you'll see a lot of posters of Messi or Ronaldo or Neymar more than Dhoni or Kohli. So Sudhani from Nigeria is set in this football crazy world, and it's mainly about these two people. On one side, you have this kid called Sudu. He's a Nigerian footballer, and he's had to leave his home country and come all the way to Kerala. And he plays some local club tournament matches in order to make some money through it and then support himself and his family who's back at home. On the other side, you have this guy called Majid. He's the manager of Sudu's team. And he's played by Sobin Shahir, who's such a fantastic actor. You may have seen him in Kumbhalagi Nights or Premam. He literally plays football with your heart with his performance. So anyways, Majid is this sweet, selfless guy who doesn't have much money, he doesn't have a stable job, and because of which he's not able to get married. Whatever money he gets and whatever money he finds, he chooses to spend it on his team and his boys. So what happens is that Sudu gets into an accident and he gets injured, and now Majid has to take care of him. But obviously Majid has no money to pay for all the hospital bills, so he invites Sudu into his own house where he lives along with his own mom. And after he moves in, Majid's mom starts treating Sudu as her own son. It's really sweet how she's always feeding him or always taking care of him, even if they don't have a common language to communicate. Now the rest of the film is about a series of conflicts in each of their lives and how they help each other out with such limited means. What I really love about this film is its perspective. It treats every character without any kind of judgment or any kind of bias, and what it talks about is this one thing, that we might all be different from each other in terms of our culture, our traditions, or the language that we speak. But there are few things that unite all of us, that's common in all of us, which is love, compassion, and humanity. And this film tries to focus on that side, the positive side of every person. Near the end of the film, there's this really, really emotional scene at the airport, and during that scene, if your eyes don't tear up now, just DM me your number on Instagram, on Twitter, and I personally GPay you 10 rupees. But seriously, if you have a Netflix account, please do yourself a favor, go watch Rani from Nigeria. It'll make your day a little better, and it might just make you want to be a better human being. The second film I want to recommend is called E Ma Yo. And before I talk about the film, I just have to tell you about its filmmaker, who goes by the name of Lijo Jose Pellicer. Now, if you're not familiar with Lijo's work, he's like the Anurag Kashyap of Malayalam cinema, mixed with thoda sa Scorsese, thoda sa Tarantino, thoda sa Francis Ford Coppola, and a little bit of even Kurosawa. And yet, he's such an original filmmaker with such a unique voice, and in the next 10 years, he's easily going to be one of India's greatest filmmakers. He's made some amazing films like Angamali Diaries, which is like Kerala's very own Gangs of Wasipur. It's a crazy, insane film, and it's known for its 11-minute single shot climax sequence. And last year, he released this beast of a film called Jallikattu. And oh man, it has to be watched to be believed. You just have to go watch this film. But my favorite film of Lijo's is Imayo, which roughly translates to rest in peace, which is something you usually say after someone dies. It's not in some depressing sort of way. It's actually a really funny dark comedy, which is sometimes hilarious, sometimes sad, sometimes dramatic, and just unbelievably surreal at times, just like life. And the plot is rather simple, okay? So the main protagonist, his name is Ishi. He's having drinks with his father, Vavachan, and they're talking about death and funerals and everything. And Ishi promises to his father that when he dies, he's going to give him the biggest, grandest, most beautiful funeral service ever. And later that night, Vavachan actually passes away. And the rest of the film is about how Ishi tries to fulfill the promise he made to his dad to give him the dream funeral that he wanted, and all the problems and struggles and confusions and conflicts he has to go through to do that. When you watch this film, just look at the first shot. It's a static shot, and there is a funeral procession going from the right side of the screen to the left, and that pretty much tells you everything that you need to know about the story and the film, and also about life. And what I realized after watching this film is that I never knew I could learn so much about life in a film about death. The film just shows how funny life is, that even after the death of a man, even just to say goodbye, there are so many different people involved with so many different ideas and opinions on how things should be done, which then creates so many different obstacles. It's like a cricket match, right? There has to be a definite result. One team has to lose and one team has to win. But imagine every spectator in the stadium or someone who's watching at home has a different idea of how things should be done. Like Dhoni should play this shot, or that Kohli is really distracted because Anushka has come to the stadium. In a cricket match, the opinions of these random people in the audience have no effect on the game, except if you think about 96 Eden Gardens. But unfortunately, in life and even in death, the most random and useless person can also affect the course of the journey. I really don't want to give away anything more about this film because it's a film that you have to experience. Of course, technically it's amazing, it's gorgeously shot, the sound design is amazingly immersive, and the screenplay is just... But if you've ever watched a really wonderful foreign film and then thought to yourself that, man, why don't we make such amazing films? This is the answer to that question. So please go watch this film. I think it's streaming on Amazon Prime, and it's really a work of art that's going to change a lot of your perspectives. So those were two amazing new age Malayalam films that I really love, and now I'm going to recommend a few more titles to add to your Malayalam cinema starter pack. I think in episode 52 of Chalchitra Talks, Biswapati Sarkar of TVF recommends 3 really nice Malayalam films. One is Tondi Mudalam Driksakshiyum. The second one is Maheshinte Pratikaram and Kumbalagi Nights. If you've not watched these yet, please go and watch them. You'll know the true power of Malayalam cinema, and also you'll get to know the incredible range of Fahad Fasil, who I think is one of the greatest contemporary actors in India today. And moving on, I've already spoken about Angamali Diaries and Jallikattu, both films by Lijo Jose Pellicer. Please go check them out. Both amazing, insane movies. And apart from these, if you love food, you'll really love this film called Ustad Hotel. And after watching it, you'll feel like you've had the most delicious meal in ages. If you're looking for a thought-provoking character study, there's this film called Munnariyippu, which means warning in Malayalam. It's about this recently released convict who believes he didn't commit the double homicide that he was imprisoned for. It has Mammootty, who is pretty much one of the biggest stars of Malayalam cinema and Indian cinema, and for him to do a role like this it really talks about the level of experimentation that all the different artists in Malayalam cinema are open to. And if you're looking for something really light and inspiring, I just watched this film on Amazon Prime. It's called Manoharam. It has Vineet Srinivasan in it. He's an actor, but more importantly, a writer and a director who was one of the many people responsible for Malayalam cinema's renaissance. Another super relevant film, Ashiq Abu's Virus, relevant for obvious reasons right now. And the last film in my list is not really a film, it's more like a cultural phenomenon. And I'm not understating this, it is my favorite film of all time in any language, and it's called Premam. It's directed by Alphonse Putran. It's one of those few films that really doesn't care about a plot. It just looks at the life of a man through 3 stages of his life. And it's made with so much love and so much nostalgia. It's not going to feel like just a film. It's actually going to feel like hanging out with your old friends and reliving the best moments of your life. And in the upcoming videos, we'll probably talk about the films of the 80s and the early 90s, which is like Malayalam cinema's golden period. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you like the films that I've recommended. Please hit like and share this with a friend who might enjoy this as much as you do. Subscribe to Chalchitra Talks, subscribe to Fully Filmy's YouTube channel, and check out our online store, which is fullyfilmy.in. There's a lot of stuff that you might like. And you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram under Ronak Mangotil. I'm always recommending a lot of movies and TV shows amongst many other things, so you can follow me there if you want. But for now, thank you again for watching, and see you next time.